Friends and family, I hope you are ready for another This Week in Real Estate with Ryan Otteson. There's all kinds of exciting things to talk about. But in the real estate industry right now, everybody, literally everybody, homeowners, home buyers, investors, tenants, landlords, everybody's asking themselves the same question, which is, when's the market going to crash? It's the wrong question, right? Will the market crash again? Yes. When? I don't know. But in the history of real estate, we haven't seen major epic collapse like 2008, followed by the next time the market resets itself, another epic collapse, right? So typically what happens is there's a crash. It happens, right? You could point out the 90s. You could go back into the 70s. You can go back in the 80s. Like you can pinpoint crashes in the market. That's fine. But you can also pinpoint natural resets. In fact, the real estate industry used to keep track of when they would sell homeowners' properties. And every 5 to 7 years, the homeowner would sell. So they'd start ramping back up their marketing again, trying to get them to sell. But here's what's funny. We've never had another reset, right? So in 2008, let me show you what I mean. The stats we're going to look at, we're looking at the city of Glendora. So it'll be the blue line on the map. City of San Dimas will be the maroon map. City of Laverne is green. And then the entire MLS, which goes from the Mexican border all the way up, I think, to Ventura County, Oxnard area, out to the Pacific Ocean, and goes all the way out to the Arizona border for San Bernardino County, right? So the entire MLS is broad, large data pool. So if you're watching this in Oceanside or Fallbrook, if you're watching this in Northern California, right, it doesn't really quote unquote matter because the housing crisis, the housing shortage, which is driving inventory to record lows, is across the country. So your price points might be a little different. There might be some variation in data, but the trend that we're going to talk about right now, that's regardless of where you're at. So a couple of key things we want to focus in on when we go back to the graph, right? So we're going to just talk about two of all those things on the bottom and all the charts, right? We're going to talk about months supply. Let's talk about days on market and potentially sales price, right? So we need to start tracking those things to start seeing where the market is going. And then we'll say why it's a really good idea for you to get on one of our market reports now. One might argue every week, if not every 2 weeks. So if you're thinking about selling, buy low, sell high, we're high, then you can say, hey, look, it's ticked down 3%, 5%, 7%, sell it right now. Right? Like you can start tracking your investments like that in real estate if you have the right tools. So let me show you what I mean. This only goes back 5 years. It's a line graph. Now, that's all that I have set up for. I'm going to take us max all the way back so we can see parts January 2008. So you can see 2008, the market tanks. And then look at this. This is the recovery line. Look at that. I want you to look at. Really in 2012, we started climbing out, right? Some would argue 2011, but let's just go with January of 2012. So we've been on a 10-year upswing, just been up, right? I don't know if you remember 2018, 19, people are like, no, the shift is coming. The market's shifting, right? A lot of realtors got panicked, quite frankly, right? Not me, but I was coaching at the time. A lot of realtors got panicked. Sellers didn't really know what to do. Buyers started foaming at the mouth. Of course they did. The buyers haven't had a break, right? The natural flow of the market says every 5 to 7 years, sellers, you lose the advantage, shifts over to the buyers. And this is how this ebb and flow, the secular market we've been in, we're experiencing a low in the stock market now. It's 31,000 points. Do you remember when people said it would never go over 29 and now we're over 30 and we've lost points and everyone's like, we're all going to die. But their perception is wrong, right? We've forgotten about 18% interest rates. I was going to make a bad joke about inflation, but I won't. So if you're going to look actively engage right now, here's something I want you to pay attention to. Okay. This is just the swing of the median sales price. I want you to pay attention to month supply inventory in your area. If you don't know how to get it, call me. I'll take care of it for you, right? We'll get that up. You can text me, email me, and we'll get you to start tracking data this way. Let me tell you what I mean. If you look at 2009 and 10, right, look at how high the month supply inventory was. 2008, we were up to 12 months. We had a year's supply of inventory in Glendora, 10 months in San Dimas. Compare that to today, where we're 1 month, 1.1, 1.2. Laverne back in February of 22 was less than one supply inventory, right? So what does that actually mean? That means if no new properties for sale came on the market in less than a month, all the houses would be gone. So this is an indicator. We should watch this for when it starts to tick up. Now, when it starts to tick up, it doesn't mean it's a buyer's advantage. So buyers, I need you to hear this, and sellers, I need you to hear this, because don't get greedy. You've been having gravy and dessert and second helpings all at the cost of the buyer. And at some point that is going to shift. Now, if a healthy seller's market is 3 months of inventory, right? I'm just going to go back 3 years. 3 months of inventory. Look at this. The last time we were at 3 to 4 months in a seller's market was back in 2019. That's 3 years of historic lows. We've been running below 2 months of inventory since November of 2020, right? December of 2020. I mean, we're 18 months into every, and it's not just here. This is across the country, right? So we're record low inventory. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to start tracking this, right? So buyers, the higher this goes up, the more inventory you'll have to purchase from, which should allow prices to come down, right? But if this inventory never shifts, doesn't matter what the interest rate does. If this inventory doesn't shift, that means there is still a massive amount of demand, and the buying public is consuming them so fast, prices will hold regardless of interest rates. Interesting. Okay, so the last thing is days on market. Look at this. 8 days to sell a house is the average in the MLS. 7 days in Laverne, 8 in San Dimas, 7 in Glendora. Now, we can get hyper local. I'm going to do that the next time, and I'm really going to walk through next week. Tune back in. We're going to walk through the literal financial difference between your city, your zip code, and your neighborhood, and we're going to show you right here in the stats so you know how to start tracking in case you're thinking about selling, moving out of state, downsizing, upsizing. There are still deals to be made in this market. Let me tell you what I mean by that. I am actively engaged in negotiating for buy and flip opportunities for investors in this market, which means if investors are still investing and the returns are still healthy, right? That means they know how to shop, they know when to buy, they know their criteria, they know what they're looking for, which is a nice setup to say, hey, look, next Tuesday, look for some advertising going out. Myself, Audison and Company Property Management, Marilyn Sparks with Farmers Insurance, we're going to lead. We're going to kick off a series on creating wealth through real estate, understanding how to read the data, understanding how to put deals together, how to protect your assets, right? And what does all of that look like? So the one next Tuesday, that'll be a webinar. You can watch it anywhere in the world. Go on vacation, go do your thing. And then after that, we're going to do some, it won't be hybrid. It'll be in-person, limited seats. We want people who are ready to engage in the game. So again, the first indicator, right, that the market's going to start shifting, literally look for that supply. Second one is look for these days on market, right? Realtors, our entire career, we know that we're about 90 days away from a paycheck. That's not happening right now. We're about 30 to 45 days. So realtors, hear my voice, start saving your money, start getting ready, right? The great Gary Keller said, don't prepare for the market that you're in, prepare for the market that you're heading into. And we don't get much lower than this. So the only other way to go now is up on days on market. So the first indicator we're going to look at is month supply. Second indicator, these are very low level, right? Very simple things to track, is the days on market, because days on market should rise. Inventory should rise, right, as those things start to happen. And then what we should see is the average sales price should start to soften a little bit, right? Supply and demand. So you can tell that since really, look at this right here, May of 21, maybe June of 21, we really sort of plateaued, right? So at the top of the market as history looks back, right, you'll still see this. Ting, 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 ting at the top of the market as shown here. So if we went back 1 year, this proves my point. The gray line is the MLS, right? It's a real smooth line across. But then look at the rest of them. It's doing this, right? These are every month. Every graph point is a month, okay? So if we went to this and we maxed out, nope, I'm sorry. If we did every data point as a 12 months, look at that. Slowly, right? But we've just been slowly climbing, but really staying about the same. 850, right? Look at that, 900s maybe. Not terrible. Not terrible at all. Now, when I look at this, I look at these runs right in here, and each prospective city sort of plateaued. Now, look at this. We hit right here January of 2022. February, we start taking off again. We started moving up again. Now, this is going to be critical. I'm curious to see what happens over the month and into the fall. Did this just hiccup for January, February, March? Whoop, right? And then we plateau again? Or will we come back down into 2021 numbers? This is the plateau I'm looking at. When I say that, hey, the market won't crash, it'll reset, but where's the new floor? Right? And then how does that affect you? I don't want to take any more time than I already have. So maybe we've got a couple more videos coming to, is the market going to crash? What's the new floor? What does that look like? But today, if you don't have somebody you can pick up the phone, call, text, or email, send it to me and ask me these questions. Ryan, in my neighborhood, not my city, right? Not my zip code, but my home. Here's my home address. Give me an analysis. I'll give you an asset valuation where somebody could hand you a cash offer, and I'll give you an asset valuation, or I'll give you a valuation of the market around your neighborhood. We'll go pull the data. So look, do me a favor, scroll through down below this. You're going to see some events coming up with our community partners. This week was crazy. This month, a lot of good stuff happening with McKinley, with For Freedom Outreach, 2 great community partners doing a ton in the community. We're actually kicking off the last thing of the month is our Creating Wealth in Real Estate series kicks off next Tuesday. Make sure you get registered for that. No Zoom link, no access. And then look, we're on a mission. We want to help 50 families this year. We're starting off like a bang, and we're doing okay. But listen, we're not on pace to hit 50. So any referral you could help us out with would be greatly appreciated. And I think that's it for today. Scroll down, take a look. Oh, buyers. Look, buyers, if you want the advantage, got to go to where it says coming soon. I put it at the very bottom. You can scroll all the way to the bottom. And these are homes that are not out on the national search engines. They're coming soon. They're available for purchase. They're listed. You just can't see them. So if you want access to properties, forget that. If you want to win, choose that other company. If you want to win, get with the Marine, because we only do 2 things: win wars and make Marines. You want to win, give us a call. We'll get you your data. We'll get you engaged, and we'll see what we can't do to take care of you. I appreciate the time and the energy. Have a great day.